Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to another WDC replay analysis with your host, Gods here from Ghost Gamers, as well as Team Natural 9.Dota. And I'm going to be looking at Game 2 of Nirvana.cn.MSI or MSI.cn, whatever you want to call them, up against Panda. We looked at Game 1 about 5 days ago or a week or so ago. You can check out the VOD, which is on my YouTube channel, as well as there's a link to it on my Facebook. If you are not sure what I'm talking about, go check that out first. This will be a bit of a follow-up from that one, although that one I was rather tired for. So let's hope I stay awake today and can actually provide some high-level insight into this competitive game. As said, I'm a competitive player myself and commentator/caster, and hoping I can basically let you know a bit about what the teams are trying to do with their drafts and strategy, and why some work, some don't, why teams take certain risks, basically what is involved with this tournament. A bit of information about the tournament itself. WDC, the World Dota Championships, was held in China about 2 weeks ago. Basically, all the top Chinese teams were there, as well as a couple international teams, Navi, EG, Neolution Esports from Thailand, and Orange Esports from Malaysia. Basically, China at the moment are at the top of the Dota scene, and we're going to talk about why they are that much better than everyone else. Well, not so much better than everyone else, why they understand the metagame than everyone else with their picks and strategies, which is basically what they rely on, rather than the individual star power, which is sort of a lot more of what the European and American, and just Dota in general, outside of China, is based around. So we're going to take a good look. We're going to hop right in, because I am on a bit of a time schedule today, unfortunately. The working life, it calls me. And firstly, let's see what happened last week. This here is a little look at the drafts from last week, guys. I'm going to blow this up for myself. Let's hope that doesn't actually ruin any of my little overlays. So this is the draft that Nirvana and Panda used in Game 1. It's not the actual, well, it's the actual final lineups, it's not the draft. So as you can see, Panda going for a very, very globally present lineup and very mobile lineup. The Clockwork Hookshot, the Tinker Boots of Teleport, the Prophet TP basically means these heroes can be anywhere on the map very, very quickly. They're relying a lot on their hero mobility and basically not being on the map. Even a hero like Earthshaker is often going to remain hidden in fog and be looking to come out from fog with a fissure to either counter gank or initiate a gank, which makes this a very, very strong lineup. The Weaver, of course, is going to be their main carry and just focus on farming, so not too big of an issue that he isn't that mobile around and can't actually lead the ganks, because they're just going to be basically ganking without him or counter ganking when the opposing team looks to gank the Weaver. Nirvana, what did they look for? They had the sort of interesting dual lane at top with the Lich and Batrider, the AA solo mid, and the Void as their main carry. It's a very passive lineup. They couldn't move around the map. AA in itself can't really gank. He can send the ultimate to the side lanes to initiate, but when Panda had both a strong bottom lane with the Clockwork, well, I mean, not so much a strong bottom lane. Clockwork was very underleveled from my recollection, but the strong top lane and the ES roaming around basically made it so that there weren't too many openings for Nirvana to get any kills, and Panda just had a big roaming ganking advantage, and because of their globally present lineup, a really well played Prophet. Prophet not even going for the Treants. He got Teleport and Sprout at level 1 and 2. Just looking to get an early lead. He ganked mid lane at level 2 with Teleport and Sprout, and just really focused on getting the Tinker, making sure the Tinker had a strong early game, and once Tinker had a strong early game, it was pretty much cruise control mode for Panda, as their Tinker was off to a great start. Their Weaver got really farmed at top lane, even against the Lich bat lane. Basically, the ES and Prophet would come in for a gank, Tinker would show up as well, and because of the great ganking lineup that Panda had, they managed to take that game fairly easily. We're going to get right into Game 2, see how Nirvana react to this Game 1 loss, see whether they adjust their lineup or whether they trying to stick with what works for them, which is often picking sort of those hard carry heroes. Heroes like Void, they did use DK a bit from memory. Antimate's another common pick from them. Anyways, we're going to hop right into it. I'm going to take this down, if I can. There we go, that's out of the way. WDC. Oh no, I didn't actually change my version, did I? 1.24? Am I in 1.24? I don't know. Let's have a quick look, guys. Did I actually run 1.24? I don't think I did, and here I thought I was already. No, we didn't. Good on me. Warcraft version switcher. So just give me a second, guys. Just going to change my Warcraft version, and we will be well and truly underway. Unfortunately, that means I have to redo all my little fancy overlays, but we can start loading the game, etc., while we do all that. Okay, let's hope these replays actually load. Here we go. Nirvana versus Panda. Game number 2. We're going to be taking a big look into this. I do need to move my donut. Wow, I've really not come prepared, guys. This is a part of the recording where I'm just like, wow, I just wasted the first 5 minutes setting up my game. What is this? Maps Dota. Okay, just need to change my little maps folder around. This could be a little instructional part. For those of you who have problems watching replays, this is how you get around it. So, well, not so much replays, maps. This is 672F. So that's in download. Download is where the maps automatically save to, but then for some reason they like to save it in the different folders. So this is my Dota folder, so I just have, basically you have to look at what path they have it saved in and basically make that path for yourself. You just won't have the map saved in the exactly correct path if it's not working. So that's a little how to do for that. Going to just reshape my window so everything is looking a-okay. Turn off mouse scroll and readjust. We're getting there, guys, I promise. It's looking okay now. And what are we going to see? We've got Panda on the Central team. They were on the Scourge team last game. Scourge is Nirvana and Panda with the first pick here. So what that means is it's going to be Nirvana who pretty much have to ban the strongest heroes that they just basically the first pick worthy heroes. Heroes that fall into that category: Lycan, possibly Lich. Lich is not a definite first ban. And what am I saying? Lycan, Lich, Batrider, of course. And basically all those first pick worthy heroes and heroes which you're going to be seeing getting picked up. Well, Shadow Demon, that's what I'm missing. Shadow Demon is just one of those heroes which in competitive play is absolutely devastating, which you'll pretty much always be seeing getting first pick when it's not banned. The exception is sometimes you'll see a team with second pick leaving both Shadow Demon and Lycan, so sort of giving the other team the option, well, you take one, I'll take one. Whereas Panda are going to be banning those sort of utility heroes, which aren't so much as first pick worthy, but definitely stuff that they don't want to go up against depending on what is left in the pool, which is the Puck, the Invoker so far. Batrider being banned by Nirvana at the moment. But quick introduction to the players. On the Panda side, we've got Hayabusa, Mew, Howie, Pan, and Yaobai. This is a fairly new team. They've definitely risen to the top very, very quickly. They're very young, but they have gotten a lot of experience and have had some great results recently. So they're definitely one of the top teams at the moment. On the Nirvana side, they've been around for a long time, have had some roster change. We've got King J, Banana, Gwei, Seeking their star carry player, and L, who is being their captain drafter. The last ban for Panda is going to be that Spirit Bear. So I'm going to see possibly a Lich ban here, although there is still the Lycan, so Lycan or Lich is going to be seen getting picked here, I imagine. Well, Lich, definitely one of those heroes which, I mean, you consider being a top pick because of how this, basically it's a top pick because of Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual is a broken skill. I say it again and again, Dark Ritual is just ridiculously powerful. There's no other reason. Sure, the Chain Frost is good, sure the Nova is a decent nuke. Frost Armor is actually a very underrated skill. It's very, very powerful, but it's all about the Dark Ritual, and it's just so broken because you can just control the creep wave so well. But it's not always going to be picked up because it doesn't fit into every lineup. It doesn't push well. And as you see, Lycan was left and first picked by Panda. So if you're Nirvana, you see a Lycan pick. That's a very push-heavy, aggressive lineup. A hero like Lich, one thing, Lycan's going to go BKB. For another thing, the Dark Ritual actually results in his lane getting pushed even quicker. Because you're denying one of your own creeps, your lane's going to get pushed very quickly, which basically means you see Lycan being picked up, you suddenly think, well, picking Lich up is maybe not going to be the best idea. Sure, Frost Armor can slow down his killing power, but when he's going to go for something like a Medallion, quite likely, not to mention the fact that he can just, I mean, Lich is squishy, the Frost Armor is not going to keep him alive all that much longer, and as soon as Lycan has BKB, he can just do so much damage. So, what do Nirvana go with? They go with a Brood and Windrunner. Two versatile heroes. I say this because Windrunner can stay alive for a long time in fights. They're not going to be too worried about the Lycan because of the Windrun skill, the Shackle Shot, and the Power Shot as well. Nice for pushing out lanes. Nice for basically having some lane control and keeping the wave where he wants it to be kept. Brood, a great pick because it can solo that side lane where you may see Lycan, and does basically do fairly well and can't really be killed by a Lycan dual lane. You'd have to put a tri lane there, and basically the way the Chinese metagame works is you're not going to put a tri-lane up against a solo ever. You're only going to have 3 heroes up against one if they have a purpose in mind, which is pushing. They're not going to be there just to make sure one hero farms. They can make sure the one hero farms with just one support hero. So a Lycan dual lane up against a Brood is not going to be what Panda wants. So they're going to see this Brood pick here and think, okay, how are we going to lane this Lycan? We can't really afford to put a tri-lane there. They could go with something like a Vengeful Spirit or a Venomancer support, get Sentry Wards level 1 to sort of basically harass the Brood away. But even then, Brood can cut down these trees, can basically avoid the Sentry Wards using those webs to cut down trees, making it very, very hard for basically for the Lycan to act, or for the Lycan lane to actually stop the Brood from farming. I mean, obviously Lycan's not going to be in much danger of dying, but it is going to be a hard lane. Sorry guys, pop up, check IRC. I am reading chat now. I won't be reading chat throughout the thing. I'm just on there to make sure the stream is in fact reading and recording. This is more just for VOD purposes that I'm doing this recording. So, back on point anyways guys. Brood is just so hard to kill and shut down. You need a hero basically designated to versing the Brood, which is possibly this Clockwork. Clockwork is one of those heroes that can solo a Brood because of the rockets to spam, basically stop the Spiderling push, and Clockwork is just very tanky. You get a stout shield, you go into a bottle or either Ring of Health, something to give you some HP regen, and Brood can't really do a whole lot to slow down your farm, although Brood will be farming. Basically, it's a bit of a stalemate situation where they both end up farming, and apparently can't see anything is the call. Let's have a little look, guys. I'm just going to do some little technical work here. Let's have a little look. I'm going to interrupt this, see what is in fact going on. If this is recording, it should be fine. I'm looking at my little recorder and it looks fine, guys. If it's fine, do let me know. Fine for someone. Okay, so just refresh the stream if it is not working for you. So Brood is just so hard to kill, so hard to deal with. And Clockwork is one of those heroes that can actually go up against him. So that's possibly why Panda were thinking of picking Clockwork. Can actually go up against him. So that's possibly... There's the echo from me checking the stream, so it's working all fine. And Antimage is going to be the third pick for Nirvana.cn. So as I said, they're going to be sticking with what works for them, sticking to their streak, which is picking those hard carries. You saw them with the Void last game. This game they're going to have Anti-Mage. I think this is a better game to go for that hard carry because you're not going to see the aggressive, global, ganking globally present lineup like you saw last game from Panda, where they had the Prophet, the Clockwork, the Tinker. That was their sort of key hero last game, was that Tinker pick with the boots to travel up very, very fast because of those Prophet ganks. And as you can see, the bans here, no surprises. Panda banning off 2 strong support heroes, both CM and Lich, because looking at this Nirvana lineup, they've already got their 3 core heroes. You're going to see Anti-Mage, Brood as 2 farmers or 2 solo heroes, and then Windrant can be played as a support, but more often than not will be played as a solo. But given the fact that Nirvana have basically given away a lot of their lineup, and if there's a hero that they're going to have to counter, they may have to put that Windrant in support role so they can get a solo mid hero that can be used as a counter to the Panda lineup, which is going to limit a lot what they can do if they are forced to put that Windrant into a support role. Similarly, we see the Chen and AA being banned by the Scourge team. The Chen ban, no big surprise, it is one of those top picks in Chinese Dota at the moment because it does work so well. The heal and basically Chen can just push any lane. As soon as he gets level 7, he just is so strong in pushing down towers. We are going to see the Venomancer picked up 4th for Panda, which could either be used as a side lane solo or even a more solo mid hero, or as a other support hero. I think we are going to be seeing it played as a support hero, possibly looking at some dual lanes here. And what I'm actually thinking Panda will do is put this Lycan in jungle. What do they know of this Nirvana lineup? They know Anti-Mage is going to be looking to free farm, either at top lane or mid lane. You won't see Anti-Mage going bottom very, very rarely. They know the Brood is going to be probably bottom lane. That means Brood's going to be sitting in lane. He's not going to be looking to venture away from that. And they know Beastmaster is mid. Beastmaster can't really gank until he is level 6. And basically, how are they going to stop a Lycan jungle? They have no heroes that can put pressure onto a Lycan if Lycan is in fact in this jungle. So the jungle is definitely the safe place for Lycan to farm. With that said, bottom lane is also very safe. If they want to put a dual lane up against the Broodmother, get sentries level 1, they will find farm for the Lycan, but it will be a very contested lane. Brood will be able to get some levels there, and I don't think it will be quite the lanes that Panda want to go for. What they can do is put a dual lane bottom against the Brood, something like an Earthshaker with maybe a hero with some AoE or nuking capabilities, basically a dual lane that can be more aggressive than a Lycan. Lycan cannot be aggressive at all in a dual lane situation, basically limiting what he can do against the Brood. Or you may see that Clockwork going up against the Brood and this dual lane going top, and then Lycan basically safely farming jungle. And what we are going to see is a Rasta last pick. So this is another very, very aggressive pick coming out from Panda, and I'm loving how they played. Last game you saw them with the aggressive ganking mobility lineup. This game it's sort of a more aggressive pushing lineup. They've got the Clockwork Initiate, the Earthshaker Fissure for backup, but then they, as far as pushing goes, they've got the Rasta the Rasta Serpent Ward Ultimate, the Venomancer Plague Wards, and the Lycan with his Wolves, this raw pushing power because of the Vlads, which he will eventually get. And this is something for Nirvana to be worried about, because Anti-Mage, not a very strong hero till he gets those core items up. Brood is going to be shut down, I feel. I think Panda, they saw that Brood pick coming, and they're saying, well, we've got a plan for it. We're going to either put that Clockwork up against it, and look to push, basically pressure him before he gets that BKB up, or they may put something like the Earthshaker Venomancer dual lane up against it. And Witch Doctor is the last pick. So, we're going to quickly pause. What are these two teams thinking? What do they want to do? Nirvana's lineup, their lineup is a lot more obvious, as this is similar to last game, and last game they lost, so you've got to worry. They haven't actually changed their style at all. They've got different heroes, but it's the exact same style as last game, and you saw Panda just completely on top, shut them down last game when they used this style of play. They're going to have the Witch Doctor Anti-Mage in this top lane, basically Witch Doctor supporting Anti-Mage, making sure he farms. We're going to see the Beastmaster probably at mid lane, basically looking to get those early levels. We're going to see the Broodmother presumably at bottom lane. Where is the Windrunner going to go? That's my question. What is Windrunner's purpose in this lineup? It's going to be maybe a Windrunner creep pulling at top, maybe doing some harass at mid lane, or maybe doing a bit of a dual lane bottom. I think the Windrunner Broodmother, obviously a very, very weak dual lane, but it's going to be one of those lanes that they maybe want to do just to stop the Lycan from getting free farm. But it's going to be Windrunner just very limited in what he can do in this game, because Windrunner is being played as a support essentially because of this Beastmaster, Anti-Mage, Brood, who will be the sort of three core heroes, unless they go for something completely obscure, which would be the Beastmaster jungle, but I just can't see them doing that in this situation, because if Beastmaster's in jungle, he's going to level a lot slower, and Lycan's just going to get absolute free farm here. We're going to see exactly what these teams do go for. Well, we haven't actually talked too much about. Okay, let's talk about what Panda are going to be doing. Rasta almost certainly, I want to say, in that solo mid lane. Rasta needs those levels, needs the basically the easy farm, although we could even see a Anti-Mage Witch Doctor at mid, which would give the Rasta some trouble, but we'd probably see a bit of a lane adjustments from Panda if that was the case. Maybe Venomancer swinging into mid lane. We would see the Lycan either heading bottom or into this jungle. I'm expecting to see him go into that jungle, and Clockwork's going to be either up against that Broodmother, trying to basically shut him down, prevent him from farming, or possibly going solo into that top lane, just sort of similar to what you saw last game when they did put it up against that tough lane and just focus on basically just staying alive, not worrying too much about getting farm or levels, and just focusing having a bit of a mid-game ganking impact with that hookshot. So we're going to look and see, in fact, what these two teams actually do. I don't think there's going to be too much surprise coming out of this Nirvana side. We see a soaring recipe first on the Brood, well, two soaring recipes. He's actually misbought two. That's going to cost him, I think he loses about 20 gold, because the recipes you do sell, I think, for 80% rather than items which you sell for 50%. Rocket going out, so they're going to be trying to scout exactly what Nirvana are doing. They're probably a bit confused by this Windrunner, wondering where Windrunner's going to go, and then we see Windrunner picking up 4 Obs Wards at the start. That is something definitely unusual, which is, I mean, obviously Windrunner's being played as support. We're going to see him looking to block this creep pull, I assume. Probably put a ward somewhere near this bottom rune, and then either lane bottom, but using these wards for vision so that you can beat this. If it is in fact a tri-lane bottom, you could see a tri-lane if it's against a dual lane. You're not going to see a tri-lane against one hero, but if against a dual lane, it's possible. And a rocket flying out. If this spots him, that's going to be huge, and it actually falls short by the looks of it. Yeah, it goes to this bottom rune, and not going to spot this dual lane. So these Lycan Wolves are going out very early, and this is key because they can, in fact, scout the lanes, which is what they're going to be looking to do at the moment. They may spot this Windrunner here, and if they're going to spot this Windrunner, if it spots this Windrunner with 4 Obs Wards, that reveals a lot about Nirvana, what they're doing with their lineup. They're going to see 4 Obs Wards, know that the Windrunner is playing hard support, expect maybe Windrunner dual lane bottom, or even Windrunner going into that top lane as a tri-lane, and it is going to be a very interesting scenario as to what he plans on doing. We see Clockwork going Sentry Wards. Well, not so much himself. He didn't buy these. He got pulled these by the Earthshaker, I believe, and going to be up against that Brood, using those basically so Brood can't harass him. Because one of the ways Clockwork can lose to a Brood is if Brood just basically uses the web, constantly right-clicks the Clockwork to get harass off, and just gets him low. And he can do this because Brood has free regen from the web. However, Clockwork with no free regen obviously needs to protect his HP a lot more, and Sentry Wards are great at doing that. And you're going to see the second web going down. And it is going to be Clockwork against Brood, immediately putting Sentry Wards, and because of this Sentry, basically he can trade hits. And as you can see, Brood's already lost a couple hundred HP, and this is why Nirvana have done this dual lane. This is actually maybe going to work out for them, because Windrun's going to be supporting the Brood up against this Clockwork, and Lycan is in fact going to be in this jungle. And this could cause some problems for Panda, because this Windrunner can harass Clockwork at bottom lane, harass Lycan in jungle if he can in fact find where Lycan goes, where Lycan is, because Lycan's going to often be low HP because of the way he has to jungle here. And we are going to see Lycan. This is the item to get when you're jungling. Quelling Blade, Ring of Protection, 2 Clarities, and the Branches just for the added stats. It's just a very, you don't need Tangos, you don't need Salves, you just need that Quelling Blade and Ring of Protection into a Basilisk. And you see him doing the Satyr camp at level 1. That's how powerful the Quelling Blade is on him, just giving him so much added damage. Mid lane, we've got Ras against Beastmaster, a fairly even lane. Both heroes should get some fairly uncontested farm. There will be some harass going back and forth. Neither hero with a huge advantage. It's going to come down a lot to the runes and the supporting teammates, how they gank, what they do. And the Earthshaker Venomancer actually at top lane, dual lane against dual lane. But Venomancer going for an early point in Poison Sting. That is going to be used to harass on this Anti-Mage whenever he goes to farm. And I don't think he's even got that Plague Ward skill yet. He's going to have 1 in Nuke, 1 in Poison. And just going to be using that to harass as much as he can. Keep Anti-Mage low. Anti-Mage with a level 1 Poor Man's Shield has already used up all his Tangos. I don't think they were expecting the ES to be there as well. And very, very strong dual lane. ES has already used his Clarity, presumably used a Fissure at top to get some harass off, which is why Anti-Mage has used up so many Tangos at this top lane. And his ES is basically already left top lane, because he knows Anti-Mage using up all those Tangos is going to limit his ability to farm, because he can't take too much harass damage from the Venomancer without getting into a very, very bad situation. And ES is already moving mid to look for some pressure there. Make sure Rasa has a good early game. The key heroes here is this Rasta and Beastmaster. I mean, they're not the carries. The Anti-Mages and Lycan are the 2 carries, but when it comes down to it, how this mid lane goes is going to be probably one of the deciding factors in this game. It is absolutely crucial that these 2 solo mid heroes get a good start. If one of them gets an early kill, if you get an early kill, that's sort of like level 6 against level 4 situation. If a gank came from Earthshaker now, they killed Beastmaster, Rasa got basically a creep wave or 2 of XP, then suddenly Rasa has a 1.5 level advantage over the Beastmaster, and Rasa can gank more, can get more runes, can just have a much bigger impact on the game. So this mid lane is absolutely crucial. This bottom lane, you can sort of see how it's going to go. I mean, Brood is going to get more farm than the Clockwork, obviously. Right now it's 16 CS to 8 because of this Windrunner support. And Windrunner is going to be looking to just venture off into the jungle, harass Lycan where possible, but Lycan, playing this so smart, is focusing on this big creep camp here. It's a hard spot to jungle, but he's going back to Fountain, summoning the wolves from there, and then he comes out. He's got 2 wolves, and he's also got full mana, so he hasn't actually used up any mana, and he has all his wolves, and we see him just creeping so easily here. He's sending off these wolves to scout, so he knows if the Windrunner is in fact coming. Windrunner blocking so many of these. Windrunner has blocked all 4 of these spots. This is the only spot available. But guess what? This is a big creep spawn, and you actually get good golden XP from it. And basically, for level 1, 2, 3, and 4, you can survive with just this one creep spot. And as you can see, Lycan is already level 4 at 4 minutes in. This is a good rate of farm. He's leveling up just as fast as, I mean a bit slower than the solo Clockwork and the solo mid heroes, but he's leveling up at an acceptable rate and is not going to be too worried about the fact that there's no to farm. And the thing is, because there's only one spot to farm, between farming it, he can go back to Fountain, regen to full mana, full HP, and then summon those wolves and just come creep it again. So he's not going to farm as fast as he'd like, but he's actually going to farm fairly well. Top lane, Venomancer, 9.4 CS, Anti-Mage with 15.7, so Anti-Mage only 15 CS. If you compare it to the Brood, who's been babysitted against the solo hero, 23 CS. So Anti-Mage not getting the free farm he would like is, if it was against a solo Venomancer, Basically, Anti-Mage would have hit every single creep by now. Witch Doctor would obviously be harassing the Venomancer out of lane, but because the Earthshaker is there, Witch Doctor has to play safe. Venomancer nuke, Earthshaker fissure, not fissure, and you see the Witch Doctor go down, and basically, because of this Earthshaker being here, Witch Doctor can't be aggressive in his harassing, and that means Venomancer can get farm, can harass the Anti-Mage, and just do really well at this top lane. That is the power of the dual lane. If you do tri-lane, solo and solo, this top lane where you have the solo Venomancer gets absolutely destroyed. If you have a tri-lane top to stop the Anti-Mage farm, well, then bottom lane where then both bottom and mid lane where you've got the Windrunner Brood, the Windrunner can just move around, not to mention the Witch Doctor can just leave, basically Witch Doctor can leave top lane, leave Anti-Mage to solo, Witch Doctor can go help mid, and sure the tri-lane will win top lane, but you lose both the other lanes, because they'll put a dual lane against both of your solo heroes. And the tri-lane, you basically have the one sacrifice at top, which could be the Anti-Mage. Even if Anti-Mage doesn't get farmed, the Broodmother will get farmed, the Broodmother can carry, the Beastmaster will win mid lane because the Witch Doctor can maybe become support, and basically use that to win those lanes. Now we see the first gank at top, and it's because the Windrunner has came all the way top, which means they can be more aggressive in their harassing because of the added hero at top. The power shot isn't going to hit. The Maledict not quite doing enough damage, and first blood actually happens at bottom. Wow, Earthshaker surviving that gank is absolutely huge. Nirvana invested a lot of hero power and time into that gank. Windrunner walked pretty much all the way from bottom to top as a support Windrunner. Windrunner has level 1 power shot, level 1 Windrunner, doesn't even have shackle shot, was basically just relying on the fact that they have a 3v2 situation, so Witch Doctor can go in, be aggressive, maybe bait a fissure. Windrunner can come in just with added damage and maybe get a kill. But they missed the kill barely, and meanwhile, it was the Clockwork and the Rasta got first blood, I believe, on the Broodmother. So the first blood on the Broodmother means basically Rasta knows they can get that bottom tower. Brood's not there. They've got possibly a Windrunner who actually went top, so it was just a solid Broodmother. Brood getting left alone basically creates an opening for Rasta to come gank. He used the dust, he got a free kill, got a free tower out of it, and they're going to get some damage on this tier 2 tower as well. So Panda capitalizing on a big mistake of Nirvana. And that is what Dota comes down to, is just basically taking advantage of really small mistakes. Nirvana, they went for a first blood. If they got that first blood at top, Anti-Mage got that first blood, and then meanwhile Brood was just farming fairly safely, then Nirvana off to a great position. If Brood didn't get caught out there, if Anti-Mage gets that first blood, then Nirvana is suddenly looking really good in this game, and I'd be going on about how, wow, Nirvana played that really well. In Dota, it's these small, tiny mistakes, that 20 HP, that it was basically the ES used a Tango when he got Maledict. If he didn't use that Tango, he would have died, I want to say. So it's these tiny things which can make a huge difference in these games, and that just goes to show how volatile the competitive scene can be when it is these small things, but it is always the more experienced teams, the stronger teams, which do actually recognize these mistakes and capitalize on them. And Rasta, seeing the Brood alone at bottom, seeing the failed gank at top, basically immediately jumps in, and here we're going to see another gank. Witch Doctor coming out with the Anti-Mage, the cast not bouncing back to Venomancer. So if that cast get bounced back to Venomancer, hit him a second time, we may have seen enough damage for a kill there, although Anti-Mage not level 6, he only just hit it then. I don't think they would have had enough damage for an actual kill. Maybe if it bounced to him a third time after hitting him a second time. Witch Doctor is maxing cast first. And mid lane we see a push. Lycan has left the jungle. So this, we're going to pause it. What has happened with this Lycan? Lycan is suddenly level 7, has Vlad's, has not been touched all game. He had all his these newt spawns blocked, but that only lasts until 6 minutes in. Basically at 7-8 minutes he got at 6 minutes he got all his neutral spawns open to him. He could farm a lot faster. By then he was level 4 or 5, I imagine, or probably at least level 5. Could farm really quickly with Bassi Ring as well as those wolves, and then got that Vlad's up quickly. Not to mention Rasta pushed down this bottom tower, which got him an extra 200 gold. So Rasta getting that early tower kill got him some added gold, and now as soon as he gets that Vlad's in level 7, he is coming to push down towers. Rasta wards, level 4 Lycan wolves, they can't defend. They've got a Brood who is stuck bottom. Brood can't really leave this bottom lane. Anti-Mage can't leave top lane. And what have they got to defend? Windrunner, who is under-leveled, doesn't really have much in Power Shot, and Beastmaster Axes. Beastmaster is going to be going for a level 1 Wild Axes build with the Inner Beast, I believe it is. Sort of the more popular build at the moment. But this is one of those games where maybe you should go for those leveled up Axes just for basically to stop these pushes. But I mean, wards, you can't hurt them with axes. You can maybe hurt the Lycan wolves, but wild axes is also physical damage. +5 armor reduces the damage that axes do. So this is just such a powerful counter to the Beastmaster axes, which could be used to stop the push. And there's just nothing Nirvana can do to stop this push here. They've drafted so similarly to the last game, and I just can't believe they didn't look for a different style of draft. Panda, expecting it, they didn't go for the same sort of profit tinker strategy, but they used something even more powerful, this aggressive pushing strategy. Because Lycan wasn't banned, they immediately picked up the Lycan. They knew a strat with a Lycan where you got that early Vlads up would be so strong against it, and they've yet to drop a tower. They've taken 3 towers of their own, including the tier 2 middle tower, and that's a huge advantage for them. They're going to have a big gold advantage, and you're going to see them looking for this Brood. The beauty of this smoke is if Brood is sitting in web, they will know where he is, because basically what happens is the smoke wears off when Brood is nearby. So as soon as the smoke wears off, even if you don't see Brood, it means he's there in a web because the smoke has worn off, and you're going to see the dust getting popped, and then, I mean, the 4 heroes immediately take out Brood. Easy kill for them, and this tower still up intact. And they knew Brood wasn't in the lane because this tower wasn't under pressure. They know he's somewhere in these neutrals, probably looking to just get some safe farm, and once again, Panda really just capitalizing on a mistake of Nirvana.cn and really just using their knowledge. They have knowledge. They basically have more information than Nirvana at the moment. They know what the Brood's up to, whereas Nirvana, they don't know what Panda are up to. There's so many options that Panda have. They can push down towers. They can take Roshan with the Lycan Vlads. They can gank the Brood in jungle. They can go pressure this top lane, push this top tier 1 tower, stop the anti-mage from farming. Nirvana don't know what option Panda are going for. There's just so many things they can do with their lineup. Whereas, what can Nirvana do with their lineup? Anti-Mage can farm top. Brood can either farm bottom, which you'll know when he's doing, or farm neutrals. So, if he's not farming bottom, they know he's in these neutrals. Panda have the information they need. They know exactly where all these heroes are, what they're doing, because of Nirvana's draft just being predictable and being the same style that we saw last game. The only unpredictable here is this Beastmaster. They don't know whether he's going to be backing up top, backing up bottom, where he's going to be looking to gank. He's the only unpredictable, the only anomaly in their draft. But Panda with just so many heroes that, Rasta, Lycan, ES, who can just move around together, and you don't know where they're going to be moving, basically means that Nirvana are always going to be either have to play safe, but if they play safe, they get out-farmed. They have to basically play risky. Especially when you're behind, you have to make risk, and especially risk when you have a farm-based lineup with Anti-Mage and Brood, you have to farm in risky places. You have Anti-Mage farming at top, Brood at bottom. One of them is going to get ganked, but it's one of those things you just have to accept. Both of them have to be farming. You can't both be playing safe when the other team's missing. You just got to farm where you can, when you can, and we're going to see another tower being taken out by Panda. This is going to add to their gold lead, and let's have a little look at what items they're going for, how they are in fact playing this, or how Panda are playing this with their advantage. We've got Arcane Boots on Rasta, giving them that added push, basically the push power to keep their heroes spamming, and Venomance with Arcane Boots. So this is very common. You'll see 2 Arcane Boots on the team, not often a third, sometimes you'll see a third, but with a lineup like this, I think we'll just see the 2 Arcane Boots. We'll see a mech up on this Rasta, so Rasta are going to give them even more pushing power with that mech. Vlad's up on Lycan, basically going for all these auras. We may see a Jenga or a Pipe, but against this Nirvana lineup, they don't really need a pipe. There's not a huge amount of magic damage spam. They've got the Windrunner Power Shot, but that's really about it. And now this Roshan is basically going to be free for the taking. They've got such a big farm advantage. I just don't think Nirvana can actually stop them taking it. But what we are going to see is ES look for a gank on this Witch Doctor first. These Lycan Wolves are going to take out Witch Doctor. The Clockwork Rocket coming in, and ooh, will they? I'm not actually sure whether they'll get this. Oh, there's the Fork Lightning, but this is just a huge farm advantage. Sure, they had to dive so far for that, and you could be saying, Nirvana, they could have backed him up, they could have TP'd into support, but what have they actually got to support him? They've got an under-leveled Windrunner. They've got an Anti-Mage who just needs to farm. Brood just needs to farm. Brood really needs that BKB up before he can do a whole lot. And Beastmaster, he's the only one who can really back up. But Beastmaster losing that mid lane because he got pushed in so fast. He hasn't actually died yet. He hasn't actually died yet. But he's just been unable to have any impact on this game yet. And the final tier 2 tower will go down. So, at this point, you have to say, where are the kills? No, that's all. Not really. For all the people who watch European Dota or different Dota scenes, you may be saying, this is 13 minutes and there's been 4 kills. What are these teams doing? You have to realize Dota is not about hero kills. Simply put, it's not a game of hero kills. Sure, that's what's spectator friendly, but the 2 most important things in Dota is 1, farming, and 2, pushing. Because, well, pushing is important because 1, it gives you gold, and 2, well, you have to push to get the throne down. Well, to kill Raxes, which gives you a huge advantage, and to ultimately kill the throne, you have to push. It's common sense. You can't win without pushing. If your lineup has no potential to push towers, there's no way you're ever going to win. I mean, you don't need pushing heroes to do that. Carry heroes is one way you do it. When you have a 4 or 5 slot carry hero, sure, you can push because they're just that farmed. Or you can have heroes that can push, like Lycan, Rasta, Venomancer. So you need a lineup that can push. You need to farm because, well, you need items. Items is basically essential. Basically, the farming goes back to pushing. The ultimate goal is always pushing and killing the opponent's throne. I mean, that's basic. That's Dota 101. The goal of the game is to kill the opponent's throne. How do you do that? By getting items, by getting farmed. You can do that in an early game manner, a mid game manner, or a late game manner when you look for carries to do it. Right now, Panda are doing that in an early game fashion. But with that said, they've got some like a Lycan, a carry hero of their own to fall back on. But they're using him as an early game pushing carry. They're not waiting for him to get farmed, the BKB up. They're using him very early. And right now, they push down 6 towers. And you see 0 towers lost. That in itself is a huge, huge gold advantage. I mean, that's like 200 gold for the tier 1 towers each. I think it's 220 for the tier 2 towers each. And just a huge, huge, massive gold lead. We're going to see all 3rd Arcane Boots on Clockwork, Vanguard. Basically, all the heroes will get up their core items. We're going to see possibly a Blink on Earthshaker. I think he's bought something. Is it a Blink Dagger? No, it's not. I think he actually doesn't have any farm whatsoever at this point in the game. But maybe just some boots and core items. We're going to unpause it anyway. So, Mech is finished on Rasta. Venomancer are going to be going for a Pipe or maybe just a Django, and they will take Roshan. So that's going to be another couple hundred global gold for them. This isn't risky at all, because they've got such an item lead. I mean, you look at this Witch Doctor who doesn't even have boots. I don't think Windrunner has boots and soaring. Okay, they've got a few heroes with boots. Beastmaster has absolutely nothing, just says boots. I mean, I don't even know what item Beastmaster is going to be going for. He could go for a Vanguard just for the tanking abilities. He may have to go for a Blink so he can initiate in, but they're just so far behind. The only hero with any kind of items is this Anti-Mage. And Anti-Mage, well, 62 CS is not that good. Brood with 70 CS has an Ogre Axe looking to make a BKB, but they're going to lose their base before... I mean, and if any of this comes into play, and wow, Venomancer actually blocking off this entire ramp, which is something I haven't seen before, but it's quite clever, although it did block his own team from smoking in. They're just going to head mid. And basically, the strategy here now, with 6 towers down, as well as Roshan taken down, it's basically pick and push. If you can pick someone off and then push, go for it. But at the same time, they can just push without even picking someone off. They're going to have a medallion up on Lycan, which gives them even more picking capabilities. And with the mech, the Vlads, there's just nothing that they can do to defend. You see a Fissure going down, Windrunner immediately on less than 200 HP. What can they do to stop this push? Very, very little. We are going to see, of course, Anti-Mage, Brood both have to come back. They've got to defend here. I mean, the game is on the line here, but this is just a huge... I mean, this is a stomp. Like, for you guys watching saying this is a boring game, I wouldn't say it's boring. I'm actually really enjoying this because of the strategy involved, but this is very, very one-sided. Why is it? Because of this draft, because of the strategies. I mean, Nirvana is one of the best teams in the world, getting completely annihilated here, and it's all based on the strategy being used. So... that in itself is interesting for me, and it's what's interesting, and I think great for players watching this who maybe aren't as experienced in Dota or want to get better, is look at how little they emphasize on ganking. They don't look for kills. I mean, 3 kills to 1, and they've taken down mid-racks. You have to say, that just shows Panda, they know that kills aren't important. There's a few kills they did get which were crucial ones. One, the Brood kill. The 2 Brood kills actually with the dust. By killing Brood, it basically opens up that bottom lane to be pushed in. That was a key kill. They're basically looking for kills when they know it will get them when they know the kills will translate into pushing. They're not going to look for kills to shut down the Anti-Mage. Like you may think, I think a lot of new players, they'll see something like, hey guys, Anti-Mage is farming, let's gank him. That's the wrong mentality to have. You don't gank an Anti-Mage because he's farming, you look for other ways, you should be looking for other ways to win the game, and Anti-Mage is always going to farm. I mean, you can shut down his farm, but shutting down an Anti-Mage farm is not going to win you the game. What's going to win you the game is pushing. So you have to say, how do we push? Is ganking Anti-Mage really going to help us push? In this game, no. Ganking the Brood was the key hero for Panda to push because the bottom lane was basically open. As soon as Brood was dead, they pushed down this tier 1 tower instantly. They then went back to mid, pushed down the tier 1 tower with Lycan, pushed down the tier 2 tower, and just got tower after tower. And this is Lil Nirvana can do at this point. They're going to go see a Vanguard treads up on Anti-Mage. He had to go for that Vanguard. This is going to be an early game. This is going to be a very early game oriented game. There's going to be pushes coming in. He's just going to go for any early game item he can to defend, and that, I mean, obviously Vanguard's basically all he can go for. We're probably going to see a Manta style next if he can actually get there, and here we see another aura. So when you're going for a push item, even whether it's an early game push, a mid game push, even a late game push, you stack auras. You get the Django, you get the Mech, you get the Vlad. So they're just so important. Pipe as well is great, although against a lineup like this coming out of Nirvana, what do you need the Pipe for? It's only really a Windrunner power shot. I mean, there's the Brood spawn Spiderlings. There's just no magic damage coming from them, and as a result, those the Pipe is not needed here. They have gone for other items, I believe. We are going to see Vitality Booster up on Venomancer. There's a Fissure. There's another Wards. As soon as the next Wards is up there, bottom lane, and wow, a huge Anti-Mage ultimate actually is going to keep Nirvana in this game, this push here, as they almost take out the Earthshaker. They do take out the Earthshaker, so Earthshaker goes down, and a 1-for-1 trade there as Lycan popping the ultimate, but Lycan has Aegis, so he's going to go back to focusing on this tower, and this was a sloppy fight from Panda, at least so far. From what I've seen, this has been very sloppy. They've just... Nirvana's positioning was spot on. They repelled this push. I mean, it basically looks like they repelled it very convincingly, but it was because of Panda's poor positioning. A few good shackle shots, as well as Panda overextending, basically resulted in the push being turned around. But what you do see is this tier 3 tower getting down to half HP. It gives Nirvana a bit of room to farm, but it's not going to give them a huge advantage. As soon as those next Serpent Wards are up, we are going to see them looking to push again. What happened there is, the other big thing that happened there was the Anti-Mage ult. I'm not sure who Anti-Mage targeted with the ultimate, but it did a lot of damage. I imagine it was maybe the Rasta, because the Rasta has such a big mana pool, but as soon as he casts those Serpent Wards, as well as a couple of Forked Lightnings, he is very low in mana, and using the ultimate on him, and then it basically hit I hit the Rasta, the Earthshaker, and one other hero, I believe, so it did a lot of AoE damage, because it does hit heroes next to your target. So that did actually help Nirvana defend, as well as that nice little shackle shot towards the end. So, a successful defend there, but it looks like it's only a matter of time until Panda do actually break through the defenses here, because there's just so little that Nirvana can do until they get a few more items up. The only hope they have is that a few more bad pushes like that for Panda, they get some room to farm, but I think Panda, I mean, that wasn't even a terrible push. It was a 1-for-1 kill trade. So what? They also did some good damage to this tower. They didn't actually successfully take it down, even with the Rasta Serpent Ward ultimate, but it's not going to matter too much. They're going to look to regroup, smoke gank, and push, although I imagine Nirvana will be focusing more, not getting picked off here. They're going to be playing very, very defensive, sticking together, really not, as I said, not getting picked off is the main thing here. But what you can see from Panda is probably going to be just another head-on push with 5 heroes into this bottom lane, and if they position a bit better, if they don't let this Anti-Mage go in, I think they should be okay to take out this game. As I said, positioning is just so important. You really need to watch where these heroes position themselves in these key fights, and especially coming up to pushes, because a lot of new teams, they'll be going into a 5-man push situation, but they'll be looking to go straight mid with 5 heroes, and there's just no actual objective in mind. It's like, what is your goal? What are you actually doing with this push? I mean, obviously the intent, teams know that they have to take racks to win the game. They've got to take racks and then ultimately take the throne, but they don't really have any organization or method to how they plan on doing that. They're just saying, let's walk mid with 5 heroes and basically force a team fight. But the other team, they have the hill advantage. They have vision. They can see you pushing in. You can't see them in their base unless you get an Obs Ward up on this hill. Either way, they can smoke. They can do a number of things to actually defend your push, including just spamming with power shots, axes, killing your creep wave, and preventing you from coming in. So, a straight-up 5-man push mid, you have to have some kind of plan. Panda right now, they do have a plan in mind because of this Lycan Wolves and Rasta and Venomancer Ward combo, which does give them quite a lot of pushing power. There is some plan in mind. They can actually go up this hill, plant the Rasta ultimate, plant the Venomancer Wards, and use the Lycan Wolves to do damage as well as tank. The most important thing is having something to actually tank the tower and tank spells when you are pushing in. You can even have a 4 or 5 slotted carry, but still be unable to push because there's nothing to tank, there's nothing. Your creep wave goes down instantly from some AoE spam, then how do you actually enter the opposing team's base? You need something. And as we do see there, Venomancer getting picked off. I think he was getting a little eager to push this bottom lane. Got picked off a bit there. And we'll just come back. He's got another Django. So going for 2 Djangos. not necessarily not something I'd recommend doing, but not something that's bad. It gives great stats. If you look at what it actually gives you for its cost, +9 to all attributes. This item costs 1900 gold and you get +9 to all stats. Ultimate Orb? Oh, I can't actually click the shop. Ultimate Orb, 2100 gold, you get +10 for all stats. Obviously Ultimate Orb is bought so you can make a Sheepstick or a Lincoln, so that's why it's more expensive. But this is better than an Ultimate Orb and is cheaper. You also get the auras, the charges which you can use. So basically whenever they go into push, they're just going to pop a charge. It helps them push faster, it gives them more movement speed and attack speed. And I mean, you can basically just spam these charges because they've got 7 to use. I mean, that's going to be more than enough for them to use up to win this game. And I imagine this creep wave here, they're going to go in. Wow, they've actually got a Necro 3, so we see Necro 3. Wow, I'm just going to pause here. Panda's Lycan Howie has gone for a Necro 3. Could have gone for a BKB, but Necro 3, he can just right-click these heroes. You can mana... Basically, if you stick those Necro books on Anti-Mage, you can mana burn him to 0 mana almost instantly if he's unable to blink away. Similarly, you can find the Brood. You can mana burn the Brood, so Brood can't use any spells. Brood has actually sold his Soul Ring. Brood did have a Soul Ring. I think he sold it to buy the BKB. He was that desperate, he sold his Soul Ring for a BKB. That's how this game has gone for Nirvana. They're just so desperate. And this Necrobook is going to do a lot more than getting something like a BKB. So really liking this item choice here from Lycan. And this just shows how situational items are. Sure, you can say BKB is a core item on Lycan, but in this situation, Necrobook is going to do a lot more because they're looking to end the game in the next 5 minutes. Sure, they can take it late game, they can get Lycan, they get BKB, Heart, all kinds of items like an Assault Crest, but it's going to do a lot more just getting a Necrobook right now and ending the game right now. We're going to see them pop a Django, one of these heroes probably, at least if they're playing clued in. And wow, they've actually got 4 Arcane Boots now with ES as well getting one, which basically says they can fissure Fork Lightning every time it's off cooldown. Another reason 4 Arcane Boots is so good is because you're against an anti-mage whose ultimate does damage based on how much mana you're missing. If your hero's all at full mana, he can't use that ultimate. And especially at level 1 ultimate, it's going to do very, very little damage here. And this, I imagine, is going to be the final push. I can't see them defending this push because of this Necrobook, because of these Django charges, the Vlads, all these auras coming out. And they're just not going to be able to fight this. So we're going to put this a bit slower as we do go in. See how these heroes... There's the Django immediately being popped. Brood's going to try and rely on this BKB to defend, but these heroes have raw physical damage. You're going to see Lycan doing so much damage. Brood's actually forced back. Raw is going to be popped. Probably want to raw this Rasa because Brood is actually on top of the Rasa. If the raw was on Rasa, it could have been different situations, but what's already happened is the tier 3 tower has gone down. Now, that's a huge source of DPS in these team fights, and Brood, with his BKB wearing off, is already so low on HP because of these wards which have been hitting him, and he just hasn't been attacking enough to actually lifesteal and keep himself alive. So ES going to get nuked. Brood is constantly spotted as well because of this Necrobook. Can't rely on the fog, and Witch Doctor trying to use that ultimate to stay alive, but it's the Lycan doing so much damage with both the Necrobook and just these raw damage. He's got 150 raw damage, attacks really fast because of all these auras, the Medallion adding to his damage, and there we are going to see GG being called by King J, and that is that, guys. What do I have to say about what happened here? I mean, this is just a case of Nirvana not adapting to their opponent. They saw their opponent. Their opponents ran a very different draft in Game 1. Nirvana ran 2 very similar drafts in the 2 games. But what happened is, Panda, they could have used the same draft as Game 1, or a similar kind of style of play, but they didn't, which basically meant Nirvana didn't know what they were coming up against. There was a number of things Panda could have done, and this was actually a more versatile lineup. Sure, the last lineup had great global ganking power, but this lineup had heroes that could be anywhere. I mean, they could, at the same time, they could be anywhere on the map. As said earlier on, the Lycan, the ES, the Rasa, they could be pushing middle, they could be pushing top, they could be pushing bottom, or they could be ganking the Brood in the jungle. When they ganked that Brood in jungle, Brood was probably expecting those heroes to be going top to gank the Anti-Mage. They didn't bother to gank the Anti-Mage once. I mean, has Anti-Mage even died this game? He's died once, which I imagine was in that final push, but they just didn't bother stopping the Anti-Mage. They knew they were going to get a huge, huge gold advantage because of all those towers. And this just goes back to the core aspect of Dota. How do you win a Dota game? By pushing. Well, ultimately by killing the enemy's throne. How do you kill the enemy's throne? You can't kill it until you've killed these towers. So how do you kill those towers? Well, you have to push. You have to push. Taking down racks is obviously another key aspect because you do get the stronger creeps, but I mean that's ultimately just how you get into this enemy base and kill this throne. So if you don't have heroes who can't push, then you're not winning the game. And I think the most important thing to take from this game is the aspect that hero kills they aren't as important as people think they are. You don't want to focus on hero kills. You want to focus on farming and pushing. Maybe it doesn't make Dota a great spectator sport, but what makes it such an interesting game. It's like chess in that way. I mean, maybe not everyone will love watching chess because it's not actually. I mean, it's chess, but I don't think that's right comparison. But it's more strategic than that. You have to think about how you're going to focus on winning the game and taking down that throne rather than getting as many kills as possible, looking for that maybe glory or becoming that superstar, getting like those 20 kills and 2 deaths on Tiny. That's not going to win games. You've got to focus on actually getting the gold advantage, getting the farm advantage, getting these key items up, the mech, the arcane boots, the Jengos, the Vlads, which will help you push, because when it comes down to it, all that matters is pushing. And on that matter, guys, I'm going to go end this video as there we have it, Game 2 of Nirvana.cn versus Panda, and some great play coming out from Panda as they use 2 very, very different drafts to beat Nirvana.cn. So some great stuff from them. So guys, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Gods from Ghosty Gamers, and that was Game 2 of Nirvana.cn versus Panda in my WDC replay analysis. So thank you guys. Please do follow me on Facebook, YouTube, etc., etc. I'll put all those links up. There's my Facebook and Twitter at the bottom. It's GGNetGods. My YouTube is youtube.com/GodsStudios. GODZ Studios, STUDIOS. I believe my spelling is correct there. I'll be uploading all these videos to YouTube, or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you guys for supporting me. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm going to be bringing you some more WDC replay analysis over the next week. I'll probably be doing one when I get home from work tonight, as this was a very short one, guys. So I'll be back probably in about 8 or 9 hours with another game tonight, guys. So thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm Gods, and that was a WDC replay analysis, and hope you guys learned something from that, can take something away from that, as I did find that a very interesting game, despite the lack of action, and what a lot of people will be saying was a boring pub stomp. I mean, that was anything but a boring pub stomp for me, guys, so I hope you guys can see that game for what it truly was. And thank you, guys.